A botanical illusion. High-stakes military espionage off the stormy coast of South America. A freak intercontinental genetic accident in a French coastal village. Hysterical medical panics in royal courts. Railway patent wars. And a $20 billion global commodity empire. None of these ingredients are printed on the plastic clamshell containers in your local supermarket, yet they define the exact biological birth of the modern strawberry. Today, over 9 million metric tons of strawberries are harvested globally every single year. We eat them dipped in dark chocolate, whipped into delicate cream, baked into birthday cakes, and served alongside fine champagne at elite international sporting events. Yet almost everything humanity assumes about this fruit is scientifically false. Botanically, the strawberry is not a berry. In fact, it is not even a true fruit. What we consume is an enlarged, swollen floral receptacle. The modified stem tissue at the base of the flower. Those tiny, crunchy yellow specks covering the outer skin are not seeds. They are individual, standalone botanical fruits called achenes, each encasing its own single seed inside. The strawberry is literally a unique plant that wears hundreds of its individual fruits on the outside of its body. Furthermore, the large, juicy, deep red garden strawberry you buy in stores today never existed in wild nature. It is a man-made biological hybrid, forged accidentally less than 300 years ago through transatlantic trade routes, royal ambition, and secret intelligence operations. Long before human intervention, wild ancestral species grew quietly across isolated continents for millions of years. In Europe and Asia, the primary native species was Fragaria vesca, commonly known as the wood strawberry or wild alpine strawberry. If you walked through a European forest 2,000 years ago, you would find these tiny plants clinging to the damp, mossy soil. Their fruits were miniature, barely reaching the size of a fingernail, but they contained an intensely concentrated, intoxicating sweet perfume that filled the woodland air. Ancient hunter-gatherers gathered these wild berries, cherishing their brief summer appearance as a rare natural delicacy. However, large-scale agricultural farming was impossible because the delicate fruits bruised within hours of being picked and dissolved into rotting mush before reaching ancient city markets. Despite these storage limitations, the ancient Romans were thoroughly familiar with the wild alpine strawberry. Roman poets like Virgil and Ovid celebrated the fruit in classical literature, writing poems that warned young children picking wild berries in the tall grass to beware of cold, poisonous snakes hiding beneath the leaves. Roman physicians, including the legendary medical authority Galen, viewed the strawberry as a potent pharmaceutical cure-all. Roman medicine prescribed wild strawberry leaves, roots, and crushed fruits to treat kidney stones, throat inflammation, high fevers, gout, bad breath, and chronic melancholy. With the collapse of the Western Roman Empire and the arrival of the Middle Ages, the wild strawberry transformed from a medical treatment into a sacred Christian symbol. Medieval monks and theologians examined the plant's physical anatomy and discovered deep divine allegory. The plant produced white three-petaled flowers, which church scholars interpreted as a physical representation of the Holy Trinity. The vibrant red flesh of the fruit symbolized the spilled blood of Christian martyrs, while the plant's ground-hugging stems represented saintly humility and purity. By the 14th century, prominent Flemish, Italian, and French Renaissance painters began featuring wild strawberries in sacred religious artwork. Masterpieces depicted the Virgin Mary sitting in heavenly gardens surrounded by blooming strawberry vines, elevating the humble forest plant into an emblem of paradise. In 1368, King Charles V of France decided to move the wild strawberry out of the dark woods and directly into royal power. He issued a royal decree ordering his gardeners to collect 12,000 wild alpine strawberry plants from surrounding national forests and transplant them into the formal gardens of the Louvre Palace in Paris. Monarchs across Europe quickly emulated French fashion. King Henry VIII of England constructed specialized raised stone garden beds at Hampton Court, employing teams of royal servants to harvest fresh wild berries for court banquets every morning. Yet despite 4 centuries of constant fertilization, watering and care by European royal gardeners, alpine strawberries remained stubbornly small, refusing to grow larger than a tiny button. European botanists were trapped in an agricultural dead end. The initial biological catalyst that broke Europe's agricultural stagnation came from the vast, unexplored wilderness of North America. When English colonists established the settlement of Jamestown, Virginia, in 1607, they encountered an entirely new wild strawberry species known botanically as Fragaria virginiana, or the Virginia strawberry. Indigenous Native American tribes, including the Cherokee, Iroquois, and Algonquin, had cultivated and consumed Virginia wild strawberries for thousands of years before European arrival. Native American communities celebrated the annual June ripening with traditional strawberry dances, consuming fresh berries raw, drying them for winter preservation, and mashing the juicy red flesh with ground cornmeal to bake sweet, dense strawberry bread. European settlers were astonished by the physical vigor of the American plant. The Virginia strawberry was significantly larger than the European Alpine strawberry, possessed a deep crimson color, survived harsh winter freezes, and produced abundant yields of fruit. Recognizing its tremendous economic potential, English traders packed living Fragaria virginiana plants into soil-filled wooden barrels and shipped them across the Atlantic Ocean to botanical gardens in London and Paris in 1620. European aristocrats and horticulturists eagerly planted the Virginian newcomer in private estates across England and France. The Virginian plant grew aggressively and yielded heavy crops, but horticulturists soon discovered a disappointing culinary flaw. While the Virginia strawberry was larger and hardier than European woodland species, it completely lacked the sweet, intoxicating perfume and complex flavor profile of the tiny Alpine strawberry. Furthermore, despite its improved size, the Virginia fruit was still relatively small compared to domestic tree fruits like apples and pears. Europe had acquired hardiness and color, but it was still waiting for massive size, and that missing genetic piece would be stolen from South America by a French military intelligence agent. In November 1711, King Louis XIV of France dispatched a brilliant military engineer and senior intelligence officer on a covert espionage mission to South America. His name was Amédée François Fraisier. By an extraordinary historical coincidence, the French word for strawberry plant is fraisier. Generations earlier, Fraisier's ancestors had been granted their family name by the King of France after serving fresh strawberries at a royal banquet. Now a man named Fraisier was destined to change the fate of the strawberry forever. Fraisier's primary secret objective was high-stakes military reconnaissance. Although France and Spain were political allies, King Louis wanted precise intelligence regarding Spanish military fortifications, coastal defenses, and artillery positions along the Pacific coastlines of Chile and Peru. Disguised as an ordinary merchant ship captain, Fraisier spent 2 years surveying Spanish fortresses, measuring cannon ranges, and drawing detailed topographic maps. However, Fraisier was also a passionate amateur botanist. While exploring the sandy beaches and fertile agricultural valleys of Concepcion, Chile, he discovered a breathtaking crop cultivated by the indigenous Mapuche and Picunche peoples. It was a giant wild beach strawberry, known botanically as Fragaria chiloensis, or the Chilean strawberry. The Chilean strawberry was unlike anything European botanists had ever imagined. The fruits were gigantic, often reaching the size of a whole walnut or a small hen's egg. Even more surprisingly, many native Chilean cultivars were pale white, or soft blush pink, possessing a delicate sweet flavor that reminded observers of tropical pineapple. Indigenous South Americans had domesticated and selected these giant white beach berries for centuries prior to Spanish colonization. Fraisier realized that if he could transport living specimens of this giant South American species back to France, it would revolutionize global horticulture. In 1714, as Fraisier prepared to board a French merchant vessel for his return journey to Europe, he carefully dug up several living Chilean strawberry plants, housing them in wooden tubs. The return voyage across 2 oceans was a 6-month maritime nightmare around stormy Cape Horn and across the sweltering equator. Fresh drinking water on wooden sailing ships was severely rationed to keep sailors alive. To prevent his delicate Chilean plants from dying in the equatorial heat, Fraisier made an extraordinary personal sacrifice. Every single day for 6 months, Fraisier surrendered half of his personal daily drinking water ration, pouring his precious fresh water over the potted strawberry plants in his cramped wooden cabin. Through ocean storms, severe thirst, and outbreaks of scurvy, Fraisier successfully kept 5 Chilean strawberry plants alive when his vessel finally dropped anchor in the French port of Brest in the summer of 1714. Fraisier distributed the surviving plants to prominent scientists, royal gardens in Paris, and commercial horticulturists in the Brittany region. The arrival of the Chilean giant ignited immense excitement across European scientific circles, but almost immediately, growers encountered a catastrophic biological obstacle that threatened to destroy the entire investment. The Chilean strawberry plants grew thick, healthy green foliage and produced large white blossoms every spring. but for 30 long years, they refused to yield a single strawberry. For nearly 3 decades, European botanists were thoroughly mystified by the sterile Chilean plants. No matter how rich the soil, how warm the glasshouses, or how meticulous the care, Frazier's Chilean specimens produced infinite flowers but zero fruit. 18th-century botanists did not yet understand the complex sexual reproduction of plants. What Frazier and European scientists failed to realize was that all 5 Chilean strawberry plants brought across the Atlantic were exclusively female. They possessed functional female seed organs, but produced no male pollen whatsoever. Without pollen from a compatible male plant, the female flowers were completely incapable of setting fruit. The giant Chilean strawberry was stranded in Europe, biologically sterile and unable to reproduce. Then, in the 1740s, an accidental agricultural miracle occurred in the misty coastal fields of Plougastel, a small farming village in the Brittany region of northwestern France. Peasant farmers in Plougastel happened to plant rows of the sterile female Chilean strawberry, directly adjacent to rows of the male North American Virginia strawberry. Spring winds blew across the fields, and wild honeybees began flying back and forth between the 2 American species. The bees collected pollen from the dark red flowers of the North American Virginian plants and deposited it directly onto the sterile blossoms of the South American Chilean plants. A miraculous intercontinental cross-pollination took place. 2 distinct plant species that grew thousands of miles apart in the wild, separated by North America, the Amazon rainforest and the Andes Mountains, were brought together by human trade, ocean voyages, and insect pollination in a French farming village. When growers harvested the seeds from those cross-pollinated Chilean plants and cultivated them, the result was a magnificent agricultural masterpiece. In 1750, a brilliant 19-year-old French botanist named Antoine-Nicolas Duchesne formally identified the new hybrid species, naming it Fragaria x Ananassa, or the garden strawberry. He added the word Ananassa because the rich, fragrant aroma of the new hybrid reminded him of tropical pineapples. Fragaria x Ananassa inherited the absolute best biological traits of both parent species. From its South American Chilean mother, it inherited massive physical size, plump shape, and dense, firm flesh. From its North American Virginian father, it inherited vibrant crimson color, cold hardiness, abundant yield, and rich natural sugars. Humanity had accidentally forged the modern commercial garden strawberry. From the coastal farms of Brittany, the new hybrid garden strawberry spread across Europe like wildfire. British and French plant breeders quickly established selective seed lines, breeding cultivars with even larger fruits, sweeter sugars, and firmer skins. The strawberry was finally equipped to conquer the modern world. Following its accidental creation in Brittany, the hybrid garden strawberry triggered an aristocratic craze that bordered on obsession within 18th-century European high society. In France, Madame de Pompadour, the influential chief mistress to King Louis XV, became so infatuated with strawberries that she demanded fresh berries be served at every single royal breakfast throughout the entire year. To satisfy her year-round demand, French royal gardeners engineered elaborate glass greenhouses heated by underground wood stoves, forcing strawberry plants to blossom and fruit in the frozen depths of winter. However, this aristocratic consumption caused severe alarm among royal court physicians. 18th-century medical literature warned that overindulging in sweet, cold strawberries inflamed the circulatory system, corrupted internal humors, and induced hysterical fainting spells. Court doctors issued strict medical guidelines limiting nobles to eating no more than 7 strawberries per day, warning that exceeding this limit could cause severe internal illness. Naturally, these stern medical warnings only elevated the fruit's prestige, turning strawberries into an irresistible luxury displayed on ornate silver platters at private evening galas. By the 19th century, during the Victorian era, the strawberry transformed into the ultimate global symbol of high society's summer elegance. In Great Britain, strawberries became deeply intertwined with the British monarchy and aristocratic sporting traditions. In 1877, the All England Croquet and Lawn Tennis Club hosted its very first Wimbledon Tennis Championship in London. To feed the wealthy spectators watching matches under the summer sun, event organizers served fresh English strawberries tossed in rich clotted cream. The pairing of strawberries and cream at Wimbledon became an instantaneous cultural phenomenon. To this day, the Wimbledon tournament consumes over 38 metric tons of fresh strawberries and 10,000 liters of clotted cream during 2 weeks every summer. preserving a Victorian culinary ritual that has endured for nearly 150 years. Yet behind the glamour of royal salons and tennis courts, a massive logistical crisis was emerging. The strawberry was about to face its most dangerous historical opponent, time. As massive industrial cities exploded in population during the late 19th century, fruit growers faced a brutal economic reality. The strawberry remains one of the most highly perishable agricultural commodities in existence. Once harvested, its high sugar content and paper-thin outer skin leave it exceptionally vulnerable to fungal mold, rapid moisture loss, and physical crushing. In the mid-19th century, shipping strawberries in standard deep wooden crates meant that the weight of the upper fruit completely crushed the bottom layers, turning entire shipments into fermenting jam before reaching city markets. The solution required a series of industrial design breakthroughs and transportation wars. In 1848, American inventor Andrew Berry patented a specialized wooden container known as the ventilated strawberry punnet. This lightweight, shallow-woven basket featured side air slits that allowed cool oxygen to circulate around individual berries while preventing upper layers from crushing lower fruit. Simultaneously, fierce economic patent wars erupted over control of railway refrigeration. Agricultural cartels fought ruthless legal battles in federal courts over patents for insulated freight cars cooled by compressed sawdust and massive blocks of river ice harvested from frozen northern lakes. By the 1880s, dedicated express freight locomotives nicknamed Red Specials were granted supreme priority over passenger trains on American railways. These Red Specials thundered through the night at breakneck speeds, rushing fresh strawberry harvests from sunny California and southern farms to northern metropolis markets in New York and Chicago before the morning sun could spoil the cargo. The development of California's Central Valley transformed strawberry production into an industrial juggernaut. Regions like Watsonville and Salinas offered sandy soils, mild coastal temperatures, and year-round sunshine ideal for continuous cultivation. By the mid-20th century, corporate agricultural titans like Driscoll's built global monopolies by deploying teams of geneticists to breed proprietary strawberry varieties. These corporate varieties were bred for rigid, rubbery outer skins, firm interiors, disease resistance, and long shelf life, allowing strawberries to travel thousands of miles inside plastic clamshell containers without bruising. However, this industrial transformation came at a devastating culinary cost. In breeding strawberries to survive weeks of transit and rough handling, corporate mega-farms accidentally eliminated the complex sugars, delicate textures, and intoxicating aromatic perfumes of historical cultivars. Modern supermarket strawberries looked visually perfect on the outside, but tasted watery, tart, and hollow on the inside. This growing quality gap set the stage for the modern strawberry revolution. Today, the global strawberry industry generates over $20 billion annually, harvesting millions of tons across 6 continents. Yet consumer dissatisfaction with bland supermarket fruit has sparked a dramatic divergence in how strawberries are grown, marketed, and valued around the world. In Japan, strawberry cultivation has been elevated from ordinary farming into an exquisite art form of ultra-luxury. Japanese fruit masters devote decades to crossbreeding rare genetic mutations, cultivating world-famous artisanal varieties, like the Shiroi Houseki or white jewel. These rare white strawberries lack the specific protein required to synthesize red pigment under sunlight. The result is a striking fruit with snow-white skin, red achenes, and an extraordinarily sweet flavor profile, resembling tropical mango, white peach, and pineapple. Cultivated inside pristine, hand-monitored greenhouses where each individual berry is supported by soft netting to prevent touching the soil, single white jewel strawberries are sold in luxury Tokyo department stores for up to $40 per fruit, packaged inside velvet-lined jewelry boxes. These white strawberries are purchased as prestigious corporate gifts and luxury wedding presents. Simultaneously, severe climate change, regional water shortages, labor deficits, and soil degradation are forcing traditional outdoor strawberry farming to evolve into high-technology indoor infrastructure. Across North America, Europe, and East Asia, agricultural technology corporations are transitioning strawberry production out of open fields and into massive indoor vertical farms. Inside climate-controlled vertical facilities, illuminated by specialized pink LED light spectrums and monitored by artificial intelligence, hydroponic strawberry plants grow without soil, weather disruptions, or chemical pesticides. Automated robotic arms equipped with computer vision harvest perfectly ripe berries at peak sugar levels 36 5 days a year, inside major urban centers. These advanced vertical farms utilize 95% less water and 90% less land than traditional agriculture, bringing hyper-fresh, highly aromatic historical flavor profiles directly back to urban consumers. From a tiny, sour wild root clinging to the shaded woodland floors of ancient Europe to sacred spiritual symbols carved into medieval cathedrals, from high-stakes military espionage along Spanish fortresses in Chile to an accidental insect pollination in a quiet French village, from high-speed 19th-century ice trains to $40 Japanese white jewels and robotic vertical farms. The strawberry is far more than a simple summer fruit sitting in your refrigerator. It is a living biological miracle, an intercontinental hybrid forged by human curiosity, ocean voyages, global trade, industrial innovation, and genetic mastery. The next time you enjoy a sweet red strawberry, take a moment to look closely at those tiny yellow fruits covering its skin. You are not merely tasting a sweet treat. You are experiencing 300 years of human ambition, biological secrets, and global obsession fighting back. If you enjoyed this deep documentary exploration into the hidden history of everyday food, hit the subscribe button, share this video with a fellow food lover, and leave a comment telling us which crop we should investigate next.